How bad is the capacity problem?
The first thing is that in this capacity show, I think there is more smoke than fire. As you see, capacity problem of what? 19 airports in Europe? Well, then it's capacity problem of every day in Paris, London, Barcelona, Madrid, Athens, Rome, of motorways. And we are used of that. So, you know, the point is that first, what are the limits? And I think everyone should start to understand that probably these mega big airports have arrived to the limit. Because it's too complex, because it connects with quality of life. How much a region can get, how much is the limit from the environmental, from the social, from the transport need to a big airport to work. And the airports are going to face these problems sooner or later, because if the capacity of these big airports will not be expanded, the planes will go to the other airports.
The possible solutions. We have mentioned the possible revision of the slot regulation. There could be a possible revision of the ground handling directive. There could be a revision of the noise directive. So these are different pieces, but they are all important, and I would like to stress that.
Are changes in ATM the answer to the capacity crunch? Can you provide the answers without us actually building more capacity?
No.
Ask a straight question, get a straight answer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to make a few points about airport capacity from a strategic perspective. Airports tend to be thought of as being, well, they are, the local assets, local powerhouses of the local economy, drivers of employment, etc. But in actual fact, they are nodes of an international ATM system. It might seem obvious that to put a noise constraint on an airport is good for human health, but the fact is that the biggest impediment to human health is poverty. And if you are going to curtail the ability of an airport to address poverty, then you might actually be giving a bigger adverse health impact from the best possible intentions. And it's information like that, and by the way, I didn't see much on that in the quality of life document that you produced. But it's spin-off, it's off-the-wall kind of thinking like that. If we take the polluter pays principle, then I hope you've all got big wallets in all of the local authorities that gave planning permission for residential development close to airports, because you were the ones who've caused the pollution, not the aircraft.
Don't blame the planners on some of the fact that people are being affected by noise. The reason people are being affected by noise is because you're retrofitting, not you, but the industry is retrofitting runways into areas that prior to this were free from flight zones, and that's why the community are so enraged.
The past years that CO2 also became the constraint to airport development, along with noise or local air quality.
Schiphol Amsterdam Airport is facing a capacity crunch. So our government decided to spread some of the burden over the country by moving 70,000 flights a year to Eindhoven and Lelystad Airport over a period of the next 10 to 15 years. And we want to cooperate, but we want to get some benefit out of it. So we have actually two main conditions, and the first one being, of course, the growth in air traffic has not to be in air traffic that doesn't benefit the region. So we want to have destinations that benefit our businesses and benefit our region. The other condition is that the growth has to be absorbed by not increasing the environmental impact too much.
Environmental responsibility is something we are all taking seriously. Airlines, airports, the EU.
And coffee is served just outside this room, so you don't need to go far. Thanks.
the most important reason for the municipalities to make a spatial plan was not to prepare our municipalities for the complexity of the development, but to prepare the rules for the development for the developers. The less night flights is very important for us, and the goal is ban of night flights from the midnight. It's difficult, but maybe it's possible. And crucial conditions for the future operation is the continuous descent approach. Yeah, it's very important, and in our ecological audit, it's one of the most important issue.
An airport region, we're quite delighted to have airports generally within our territory because of the benefits, the economic development, the employment, direct and indirect, not least in terms of tourism and also some revenue and taxation. And then to balance that, trying to minimise the acknowledged impacts that airports have. Essentially, the objective is try to avoid the conflicts that we heard earlier about today, rather than trying to deal with amelioration and mitigation measures.
How many of you engage with the airports? If you're an airport, how many of you have long-term strategic plans as well for what you want to do with your airport? How many of you are engaging with your stakeholders, and how do you do it? And how many of you know who your stakeholders are? So what is possible? And how do people put passion and understanding into playing their instruments?
We are here because the noise directive is part of the airport package, and the noise directive is dealing with the ICAO balance approach. ICAO balance approach is how can we give a structured reply to noise mitigating measures, and we have to consider a range of options. We have to use quieter aircraft. We have to use land use. We have to take other operation measures, and not as a first resort, we can take operating restrictions. This is a bit the balanced approach which this directive tries to implement, and we're going to review this directive. I heard from the previous session a call for developing policy and developing a long-term vision in order to give predictability for citizens to make a choice where to live, for businesses how to adapt to this environment.
So communication is very, very often the basis of all the problems. What can we do about it? How can we go about it? I think we have to ask the questions. I think we have to, if we're a planner, for a regional planner, go towards the airports, engage with the airports.
Just any thoughts on what for you is the absolutely crucial priority for this new airport package? Is it to deal with the slots issue, to make more effective use of capacity? Is it to develop new capacity? Is it to get this balance right and contribute to getting the balance right? Just wondered before we close if there are any thoughts on all of this.
What I see is that it's very difficult to link quality of life as it is to the airport package.
One of the things that I have fought against over the years has been the fact that there actually, even though there's a noise directive, there actually isn't any legislative specificity in the directive, and therefore there's actually no control over aircraft noise. Well, there may be in Europe, I don't know, but there certainly isn't in Ireland. Any time we're told, we complain about noise, we're told there actually isn't any legislation to control it. So really, what I would like to take out of this day, and I would hope that some of the Commission would take it out, that they would actually put a specific figure on the aircraft noise which is acceptable.
And I think it's been a very interesting and stimulating day. So if you're travelling on from here, I wish you bon voyage. But thank you all very much indeed.